What's up, Digidestins? This is Kyle D, better known as RideMyAvatar, and today we are going to be talking none other than the Ultimate Cup that happened this past weekend. So without further ado, let's dive in the video and talk about it. First up, the meta recap. At this point, Numemon is finally getting an extensive lead over the other ones. We're now at 9 new tops paired to the most second place and third. This is kind of getting scary that we're at 9 to 10. Devas and Red Hybrid are not as topping as consistently now as Numemon. Numemon is just showing that it has the power to upfront this format and just be a beast. We also do have, Red Hybrid Devas, Leviah, Mirage, Dog Bunny, Shine Greymon, and all the other good stuff that this format is still very healthy at the end of the day. It's not falling behind in any capacity, in my opinion. Just even taking a look at it at the big, let's see. Can we put this on its own page, please? Move to its own sheet, please. I'm taking a look at it. It's Numemon's only at 18.7% of the format, followed by Red Hybrid at 12.2, followed by Davis at 11.5, Leviah at 9.4, Mirage at 8.6, Shine at 5%, Dog Bunny at 4.3, then Fenry Luga at 4.3, and on fourth. This is great information to take into account. This past weekend, though, these are the top players that took their decks and won. I'm taking a look here. We have top 16 breakdown for Nume, Mirage at 3, Fanglong at 2, Bloomlord at 1, 1 Gabubon, 1 Beelzemon, 1 Fenry Luga, 1 Red Hybrid, 1 Shine Greymon, 1 Yellow Vaccine. Yellow Vaccine took the whole enchilada, which is pretty cool to see. And if we take a look at the deck list here, it's very interesting in a way, shape, or form. The way the deck works is it's really scary for Numemon decks just because of a few cards in the list. If we take a look here, let's look. Nume is that it does have access to a card called Revelation of Light. This card here is really hard to deal with because of the way it is. All your opponent's Digimon and security Digimon gets minus 5,000 DP until the end of your turn. This now puts a blanket effect on everything. And if you can get this to go off when you have Ruin Mode on board as well, that's a minus 10,000 DP across the board. There's not much a Numemon player can do early game now, just because of the way the deck works. They cap out at 3,000 DP, leading to Revelation of Light being one of the harder cards to deal with. I actually faced against this deck, if I remember correctly, in my last run, and this was one of the decks that actually beat me. I got game 3 with it at least, Karis. This fact that you can also manipulate with this Kari is ridiculous as well, just because this Kari can extend your plays, or you can make your opponent pass the turn back, leaving very little option for your opponent to continue play. I think this is a very powerful list, and there's a lot of potential going forwards with it that I'm very excited for. And, even just this card alone really puts in a lot of work. All your Digimon gain barrier, your yellows. Opponents turn all your opponent's Digimon with levels greater than or equal to the total level in both player security stack gains a security attack -2. This thing puts in work because now they have to get this off the board as soon as possible, especially once you get to only one person having 2 security left or anything like that. This just becomes really much a problem in the long game, because the only way it's going to go up is if you allow it. As long as this card is on the board, your opponent's just going to have to deal with it. Patamon and Salamon are really great cards. Shiagu coming down is really solid as well, just being able to apply pressure that way. All in all, the list is really solid. And before we go too crazy, Numemon's at 25% this time. Well, it's kind of just top 16. Why not? Mirage taking 18.8%, followed by Fanglong taking 12.5%, and then Bloomlord, Gabubon, and everybody else at 6.3%. Taking that into consideration, that Numemon is definitely the deck of the format now. People have finally solved it, and everybody's kind of converting to the purple. I kind of want to recommend a card to you guys. Start taking in Digimon Emperor into your deck when you're thinking about these major events. Digimon Emperor really shuts down this deck hard, or any deck that is just kind of thinking, oh, I'm going to climb up after I promote my rookie. Emperor will slow them down really badly, especially if they don't have a mem setter, and a lot of these lists don't. Keep that in mind when you're going into this. The second place list of Mirage Gauga, it's kind of very stock. Nothing really too out of the ordinary here. The Betamons are just for the jamming, because you can't guarantee Buku. You have 3 Wanyas, just a 4 egg thing. Just remember, when you're facing against players with 4 eggs, tell them to shuffle and cut, because you don't know if they are playing Mirage, and you don't want them to go, oh, Wanya first and then Buku second. You want to be able to cut that, make the odds that the Bukumon is at the bottom. Mirage doing a Mirage OTK things, followed by, here's a Numemon list that is kind of very stock. It's the black version, which is kind of surprising to see black to be all the way at this top. We would expect the purple to be more there. The thing is, if you take into account that a lot of players are starting to think about countering your game plan, purple base does not play well into Emperor. Emperor will concede you turns, and that's the problem there, because Emperor activates the moment the DGA goes up and then takes away 2 memory. That means no Ugumon can activate or Agumon in time to be able to keep that turn and be able to extend your plays. And that's a major problem there, because all your effects will not resolve at that point. Keep that in mind when you're deck building, that Emperor could lead to being a very problem for this meta coming into it. You know, we have Quantumon in here and Platinum Nume, and Venusmon is just kind of stock. Merciful Mode, definitely a needed card. Taking a look at it, it's a really solid list. 1 Chimera. Then we do have Devimera with Ukumon as well. A way of extending your plays as you need to. And the thing is, you got to take away Heaven Judgment isn't in the list, and neither is the more common, what is it, Tiger? The Tiger that digivolves into, what's his name? The level 5 Tiger that, what is it, Leopardmon's level 5 isn't in this list, if you take a look at. The problem comes down to, what's really scary about this is, you know, hatch Devimera, digivolve into Uku to promote up. You want to make sure you're hatching that, because you want to have that play. I like the idea, because especially with Analog Youth, being able to hatch on your opponent's turn, set up Uku, and then following turn promote is really useful. Or if your Digimon is destroyed with sources and you magically kept it your turn, you have some value there. I like the list a lot. The Uku Devimera is very useful, because you can give an early game push going first, and then basically extend your plays so that your, you know, level 7 is now, let's say they gave you 2, it's 3, you're giving them 4 instead of closer to 5. And that's very important, especially in certain matchups, and you just got to keep that in mind. And then you do have like Emperor Greymon here, 4 Uku, full Sen. It's starting to look like Red Hybrid is going full Uku. A lot of decks that can play Uku are starting to play it at full play set. It's just such a good card, extends your plays, and sets you up for the next one. Keep that in mind. Then you do have Fenrir Luga here that is going to do what Fenrir Luga does. 2 A Delicate Plan is very interesting. I think this is just for option shenanigans. It's not bad. Then we do have Mirage again. Mirage doing some shenanigans with Arrow Vidramon with the extra security check. And I like the tech of the Seedramon with Rush with jamming. It's not a bad tech, and especially if you can get this to play down. Then another Mirage after that. It's just very standard stock. Plays 2 Arrow Vidramon for that extra security check push. Not a bad trade-off. Then we do have Bloomlord itself. Very common stock list of Bloomlord. We have like Quartzmon here. You know how it goes. You got Hydra, 2 Quantums, 3 Bloomlord, 1 Chimera. You have Entomon here. If you have 2 or more suspended Digimon in play, unsuspend this Digimon. It's not a bad card, actually. Being able to get another attack in it can lead to being some great value as well, since you can suspend a lot of stuff going up. 2 Pumamon to shut down effects. And if you notice that a lot of lists we're not seeing as many Leviamon tops anymore, it's showing that Leviamon is slowing down. A New World is very interesting. If you have a Mimi in play, you may play a Palmon from your hand without paying its memory cost. Return 1 Mimi card to its owner's hand. This lets you reset up your Mimi, which is not a bad trade-off, especially if you want to get some of your Palmons down. Really good. Then we do have another Numemon list. This is obviously the purple base. Let me get the Devimera. They have one of this and this. Let me fix that real quick. You're seeing this stock list as well. This purple base is showing to be more people's favorited versions. You know, with the Zulongmon Ace and Venusmons, you know, Shine, 2 Zawart defeats is really up the alley. I like that they kind of put in Louis as well. That kind of makes the deck a little bit different. And I like how people are starting to adapt and change things up. And they put another rookie in, and that's where I would have done. I would have put another rookie in, just some more value town. Just keeping that going. Europe, let's see, taking a look here though, we got Satsuki's 3. Oh, this is just Dan Bang's stock list. This is what he played last week. Didn't get as high though. Then we do have, wait, was it literally 3? 3 Numes in a row? No, there was no way that was 3 Numes. As you can see, another purple Numemon list. No surprise here. This is just common for the course, especially once people learn what is the better of the decks. I find it very interesting. It went with the more traditional route, changed up a little bit. Platinum Nume to 3, 2 Venusmons, Omnuon Zwart, 2 Chimeramon instead of 1 Chimeramon. It's not a bad trade-off here. Definitely the Merciful mode is what people are starting to tech in, which is kind of expected. It's just a really good card all around. Then we have Beelzemon being Beelzemon tricks. I love the MyOtismon Ace tech because players are not ready for it. This can lead to getting your Impmon on the field on your opponent's turn, which is a big liability because then you can go into Beelzemon and go crazy shenanigans. I love it because then you set up your Wizardmon X and everything like that, and you're good to go. Stuff like this is very important and vital, especially surprise aces, because when you start teching in cards that your opponent's not ready for, it can lead to being some misplays that your opponent wasn't counting for. And I love the MyOtismon Ace shenanigans here. You have Death Slingers and Rivals Barrage as well. Then you do have Gabubon here, just being Gabubon. Gusomon? What is this thing doing in here? When attacking, trash any one Digievolution card of one of your opponent's Digimon, then return one of your opponent's Digimon level 5 or lower with no Digievolution cards to their owner's hand. That's not a bad trick, especially if they've just hard played a level 5 ace. This could lead to being a piece back to your hand. I love how this deck went. You have Louise, you have Matt, Ishida's, Davis, and Sora and Joe's. The extend plays, source stripping, especially comboing with Gusumon. If they're at a level 5, you can really make some damage. Foxfire is really hard against Nume decks or anything that is playing your opponent's level 4 or lower. You have a Groom on its name, return one of your opponent's Digimon with the lowest level to their hand instead. If they don't have a 4 or lower and they have a bigger one, Foxfire could answer that threat. I love how the deck is. I love how it's played. I've played against this at least one match against this, and it's a really interesting deck, and it's really hard in some circumstances. The fact that you do have access into certain plays is really good. Venusmon really is hard for this deck though, because it does shut down its main combo skills, and that is its when digivolving and when attacking. Venusmon is really more of a scary threat for this. That's why Nume has a little more advantage. Then we have Shine Greymon, Punchy Boy. As you know, Shine Greymon is Shine Greymon. Offensive training, Sunrise Buster, Marcus. You know the drill. Play Marcus, punch with Marcus, take out security, burst mode, digivolve, trash security, punch Marcus. I mean, very simple, very linear strategy. And then final David list, kind of putting in some interesting text with Omnimon Merciful mode and Shine Greymon Rune mode, especially since you do have a decent amount of purple and yellow targets across your megas. It really does matter. Shine Greymon can lead to being a great negate. The only problem is when you decide to pop him, you're going to be screwed because you're going to lose some memory out of this. Then you also have like Merciful mode here, just being able to deal with purple. And it looks like a lot of players are starting to tech more and more against Leviamon, it seems, in lists. And that just comes with the territory of just knowing what's coming forwards. All in all, though, no surprise here, like the Mega Gargo Ace, Azulamon Ace, Ibuamon, Zuqualamon, Baihumon, and then Fanglong himself. I mean, the deck is really powerful. It has a lot of potential. I wouldn't be surprised if we see more stuff. And then, as we talked earlier, the first place list itself, I think we have a lot to work with. And the meta is looking more and more healthier. I mean, ratios wise, we have plenty of top end. We know the big 3 are Devas, Red Hybrid, and Nume. We also have plenty of stuff doing well in the one-of categories that are definitely showing up more and more. I mean, the only one that hasn't done well since a certain point in the format, let me see, where is it? Oh, we're too far over, is the fact that Leviamon hasn't seen any tops recently. I mean, let's take into the data wise. Leviamon, as of core TCG online here, and then the last couple, just hasn't done well recently enough to justify its existence anymore in the format. Is that just because people are teching against it more? Probably. And that would mean you should probably start rethinking on if you bring Levia to a format like this, unless you already have the answer built in. Stuff like that is going to be vitally important for data wise. All in all, guys, hopefully you enjoyed this video. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll catch you next one.